Welcome! In this lesson, we're going to go through some examples of past reading that I did at Neutrality. So go ahead, the PDF right now and follow through. So the first example is a client that I did in past, and that was the second reading, a follow-up. So because of that, I allow myself to go a bit deeper and find extra data for him, as you can see in the bonus section. First of all, most people at the beginning of neutrality, they're at 7 feet in front, 14 circumference, right? We can see here, this client is at 270. So he broke the first heart layer. Not only he broke the first heart layer, but it's like he stabilized the first heart layer. That's what I see when people are going through like mid-neutrality. It's like they are well attuned with their heart. It is not unstable, it's not closing on a weekly basis anymore. They learn how to trust fully the heart intuition. They are living out of the heart, and they're missing a little piece to move to willingness. And we can ask, what are the emotions that need to be released to move to willingness? What are the main chakra that needs to be worked on to move to willingness? So we can see here, and you're going to see in the other example, most people at neutrality are very strong in the root and the crown. So the heart set the baseline, 270 in this case, and then we can see that the crown and the root are strong. So we are connected from above and below. The channel is open. That's almost like, I would say, needed to live at neutrality. That's the foundation. And the other pattern that we see is that people have at least 3 to 4 chakra following the baseline. In that case here, 270. So we have 4 chakra following the baseline. That's beautiful. So the third eye, heart, crown. And we can see that there's a bit of weaknesses in solar plexus and sacral, and they're at 240, meaning that there's a little thing that needs to be integrated to move to neutrality, to move more in trust, to trust more those chakras, right? The process of embodying those energies. And then the throat is at the beginning of neutrality. So beginning of trust, and then it's not following the baseline, most likely because there's maybe some integration that needs to happen here to fully go into trust. Maybe there's some emotion also. For the feminine masculine, we can see that they already started moving. So instead of being 55-45, what people are usually at courage, here it started moving at 54-46. So that's another confirmation of neutrality. We can see also there's very little emotion that came in. So first emotion came in, anxiety in the heart, heartache, and I went deeper. So I asked, it's linked to which parent, what age, and which energy has been affected by that. Then we can start seeing the inner marriage, right? Of like the masculine that is dominant and the feminine that is submissive. And I confirm which organ is affecting. In the sacral, which is one of his lowest chakra, harsher emotion came in, like guilt is a very harsh emotion, bitterness. It's a sense of protection, a shield, right? That is covering up for something deeper usually. That is covering up for anger, that is covering up maybe for deeper sadness. Defensiveness, right? Defensiveness is also a sense of protection. And we can see here, they're all affecting the feminine energy. And I see this a lot, like the energy that is submissive usually is trapping defensiveness, and the energy that is dominant usually traps like heartache, betrayal. So it's like harsh emotion in the heart that we don't want to live again, and then so we're going to be controlling our reality to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And defensiveness, it comes from that controlling aspect of the other energy. So because we're living within with another energy that is controlling, then we need to defend ourselves all the time. Bitterness, yeah, it's like, again, it's creating that shield of protection. So rejection in the throat, it's a big one. Rejection is usually an emotion of the solar plexus, and here it's affecting the throat. So affecting solar plexus and throat. Nothing else came in for the solar plexus, crown, third eye. And I asked which emotion it needs to process to move to willingness. And the only one that came in is heartache. Heartache is a very, very harsh emotion, usually affecting all the area of the heart, the arm. Like me, I can start feeling some rashes being created here, all over. It's really like it's burning the heart, it's closing. It's when we fully invested ourselves, trusting fully like the other person. Too much expectation in what we invested in ourselves in. So somehow it's like there's too much investment energetically in the physical reality, and we forgot our investment within, and the investment with the soul, the higher self, and the guide. So it's an unbalance here. It's like we're seeking too much from this physical reality, and when something happens, boom, we close. It's like almost like it's very painful because we did it from so much love, so much hope, but then this hope has been broken. And when I see emotion trap at 5, usually it's a pattern. 5 would be the initial emotion when we start being more and more empathic to others, and then there's a pattern here happening throughout his life, right? So it's not a specific event, it's more of an ongoing program. All his organs are over 200, beautiful. Another confirmation of neutrality. Usually there's no organ that are underactive, hyperactive. Here there's some weaknesses, like the spleen, the 2 kidneys are at 200, and I found that the 2 kidneys is linked to defensiveness, and then the spleen was linked to anxiety. Anxiety is always the primary emotion of the spleen. The skin, beautiful, 210. The skin is the barrier between the inner world, outer world. And the body, 240, that's beautiful. It can go to 250 maximum. Another confirmation that is living at neutrality, that neutrality, our trust level is at around 60, 70%. 70% is amazing from my level of understanding and reading. So the trust baseline here is 70, and everything else around his life is at 70%, so it's beautiful. So dad, mom, man, woman. Level of satisfaction of his life, 50%, that's amazing. Usually I see like 20, 30%. So 50% is amazing from my comparison from other reading. At willingness, we need to start clearing those harsh ego, me, reality emotions. So resentment, effort unreceived, love unreceived, abandonment, those type of emotions. So we can ask, what is the percentage of cleared of the emotion of resentment? Here is 60%, so it's a bit lower as you can see than the others. He already started his polarization, 52%, service to others. We start our polarization usually around willingness. So again, a confirmation that he's ready for willingness. So we start at 50-50, that's where we live, right? But the 50-50, it's not that I live 50% of the time serving others and 50% of the time serving myself. The 50-50 level is more like we are at 0. We didn't start, we didn't take the choice yet. And then when we start taking the choice of serving to others, it's more like, okay, now I'm serving others. I think the best way to see that scale is, instead of doing like the scale on like 100% and then 50-50, we can see, okay, like what is my percentage of serving others? Here it's like I'm starting with 2%, right? Almost. It's a way to see it. But in Contact of Ra, they explain, okay, start at 50-50 and at 51%. That's when we start serving others, and that's when we are allowed to ascend to the fourth density positive, right? And it's harder to ascend to the fourth density negative. We need to be polarized 95% negative, which is almost impossible in this time and age of humanity, but it happened in the past. As they explained in the Contact of Ra, a few humans were able to do that. And then we see the acceptance level. So self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, 45%, 50%, that's beautiful. If he's able to do a bit more work here to move them to 70%, he's really going to start integrating willingness. Same thing with acceptance and forgiveness of others. So what we do here is we start journaling, and then we do fire ceremonies of forgiveness and acceptance. We might do 1, 2, 3 sessions in a matter of a month. Each time we go deeper and deeper and deeper. We journal, we bring some downloads, insights. We ask the universe for some messages. We bring some emotions as we write those things. We bring some release, transmutation as we see this sheet of paper being burned. We can go deeper, accepting the chakras, right? We accept all these chakras, 70%, that's beautiful. Nothing to be seen here. And the communion, so the communion, we saw this in the ultimate audit. The communion is my relationship with those energies. So his relationship with his root chakra is at 250. 250 will be hard base. The communion can go to 350. Usually like 3 is incredible. 300 is incredible. 250 would be amazing. So we can see here the sacral is a bit lower. Again, it's more about the comparison, right? And then we can ask, since the sacral is lower, I can start to split down the sacral in pieces. So sexuality, pleasure, creativity, intimacy, emotions. And I can see some weaknesses in intimacy and emotion. So it gives some insight, right? Another thing that I do rarely is ask if there's some kind of debris in the energy field that needs to be cleared, do some kind of psychic surgery. So I got no on implants, yes on AI, no on entities. So dark entities, like they are able to go inside your body if there's some weaknesses there. They are like energies that are looking for like a physical place to live. And the pineal gland calcification, 5%, that's amazing. Usually most people is around 20, 30, 40%. If we start really like clearing this through the Joe Dispenza breath of moving the fluid up the pineal gland and hitting the pineal gland, then it's the energy starts the decalcification. I see a lot of people that are at Joe Dispenza retreat at 0%. And that's it. So I gave him his homework of working on the sacral, doing 21 days of microcosmic orbit, releasing those emotions, integrating those mindset of intimacy, emotions, and then really building a communion with the sacral. So that was a beautiful reading. Really like this one. Another beautiful client that was able to pop outside of the 250 layer, and it's very subtle when I feel it in muscle testing, but I can confirm like there's a difference between 250 and 260. I feel it, and I feel it in the energy of the person. And again, it means that they are fully embodying neutrality. They are not in this fine line of like in between courage and neutrality. They are fully embodying trust. So again, we have the crown and the root connecting with the baseline, the confirmation. We have at least 4 chakra following the baseline under the confirmation. We have like the masculine that is dominant at 54 and then feminine at 46. So this 54, 46 is the confirmation. And for him to move to willingness, it's really about working with the lower chakra. So the sacral is weaker, still at courage consciousness at 220, and then the solar plexus is blocked. And the 3 lower chakras are our survival chakras, right? So once they are balanced, they are healthy, they give support to the heart. So if we want to move the heart to the next layer, we need that support. So for him, it's very, very important to first balance his solar plexus, bring it to at least the end of courage, and then this maybe is going to have a domino effect on his sacral. So the emotion here that came in the heart, betrayal, lust, helplessness, defensiveness. So betrayal and lust are emotion of the heart, but helplessness, defensiveness are more emotion of the solar plexus that are having a domino effect on his heart. Crying, resentment, frustration, all emotion of the solar plexus. Guilt, a harsh one, is in the sacral, and it's the only one that came in the sacral, and it's making his sacral way weaker. It shows how harsh is this emotion of guilt, right? And guilt is really this feeling that we did something wrong. We hurt somebody. We feel guilty for our behavior. But it's an illusion, because like someone that is living in darkness or someone that would be like almost like a psychopath wouldn't feel guilty for what they did. So the fact that you feel guilty shows that you're already a good person. You're already in light. So when you start accepting that, then it's easier to release guilt. Nothing in the root and the crown, betrayal. I rarely see emotion in the third eye and crown, but when I see it, most of the time, 80% of the time, it's betrayal. And betrayal is an emotion of the heart, and having a domino effect here. All these 5 chi organs are balanced over 200, except the liver. Again, a confirmation that the solar plexus is weak. So that liver needs to be balanced to really like have a domino effect on the solar plexus. And the main emotion I asked was resentment that is affecting his liver. And then we can see the spleen, which is the other organ of the solar plexus, being at 200 weak, and the 2 kidneys at 200 weak. So it shows the weakness in the sacral, again, confirmation. The skin beautiful, 220, and body 240, amazing. So here the homework that I gave is 21 days on the solar plexus, first clearing all the emotion, and then doing 21 days of bringing attention to the solar plexus every 30 minutes with different reminders, and then we do a practice every day to bring a different understanding in the solar plexus. So the best practice is the fire meditation that I'm sharing in this course. And the sacral, after that, the microcosmic orbit, again, we bring attention in that energy center, we build a communion, we integrate it in our day-to-day with creativity, with art, with color, with emotions, with sexuality, sensuality. Third example, another 270, that's beautiful. I'm very excited each time I see this. Rarely are the clients that I scan in neutrality, and when I see they are mid-range in neutrality, like that 270, it gives so much hope, and I can feel they are missing a little piece here of the puzzle to move to willingness. And I feel that this audit is going to give them what they were looking for. So very grateful for those clients. And super rare the people moving to willingness. Like it's a miracle when I see someone at willingness. And then acceptance. I got maybe like 2 or 3 out of like 400 people. It's more than a miracle. And it's super hard, right? Super hard. And we move all the time. We move. Like me now, I've been living like in the last few months at this level, around 270. And I've been living maybe 2-3 times willingness per month. And each time I'm like, whoa. And it's the process of reintegrating willingness. The moment I live it, I go outside, I try to integrate it in the day-to-day. So here, third example. So we see how many chakras are following the baseline. 3 chakras. And there's 4 chakras, right? 4 chakras again, beautiful. But there's a willingness here in the crown. So like if we want to move to willingness, we have no choice here to work with the crown. And usually like someone that at neutrality having issues with the crown, there's this like event that happened, this emotion, most of the time linked to betrayal, yes, betrayal. And then what she needs to work on here is again, it's the solar plexus in that case that's gonna have like the 3 lower chakra following the baseline and re-supporting. So for her, it's really about the solar plexus, the crown to move to willingness. The masculine dominant are still at 55-45. A lot of emotion came in here, mainly in the solar plexus. And then even the first emotion of the heart that came in is anger, which is an emotion of the liver, solar plexus. Resentment, another emotion of the solar plexus. Blaming, which is sacral, also affecting solar plexus. Heartache, an emotion of the heart. Depression, an emotion of solar plexus. And then they came in again here in solar plexus. Anger, resentment, blaming. PV, another one in solar plexus. Conflict. Conflict is like this fighting, this argument with others, and it really affecting our sense of self, self-esteem, identity, right? It's this clash of like, whoa, I need to fight. Unsupported. Supported is really like, again, solar plexus, self-esteem. Pride, like is trapping in the sacral, but affecting all chakras, affect a lot the self-esteem. Failure, the big one of the solar plexus, affecting the throat. Insecurity is an emotion of the heart, affecting the throat. So we can see here, like most of all of our emotions are solar plexus emotion, having domino effect on other energy centers. Betrayal here in the crown. All 5 chi organs are over 200. It's beautiful. We can see like weaknesses here in liver, the 2 kidneys. The body is at 230, skin 210, all beautiful. And she's a level 4 soul. Level of the healer, for density integration of love and understanding. And I could feel this, like the moment she sent me a photo, I could see like years of work. I could see like she was born into this. I could see that her devotion into the inner work. So I gave her 21 days on the solar plexus, 21 days on the throat. Solar plexus is always going to have a domino effect on the throat, because once we're well connected with our self-esteem, it affects how we express ourselves. And then for the crown, just bringing attention to it quickly. I'm sure she's doing it with her daily practice. So just releasing that betrayal is going to bring back the crown to the baseline. That's it. I'm giving you a 4th example. And then there's also the example that I did of Jim Carrey, if you want to explore. That's it. Thank you.